Hello everybody and welcome to My Hero Academia Season 4 Episode 3 Anime Review. This episode, before that, I'm not going to talk about how the internet kicked up a fuss after last week. I knew they would, but I don't want to get involved in that, so let's not talk about that. Okay, so this week's episode, we had, for the most part, most of the episode was just a big old fight, and really, it was fine, and it was good at establishing Nightaye's motivations in that, but really that was most of the episode. The bit that made me more interested, which I guess is what it should have done, is the post-credits scene, which we'll get to. And I was like, oh, okay, now we're cooking with apples and eggs and all the other vegetables. None of those are vegetables, but it's fine. But yeah, I was like, oh, what's going on? And the preview, it flipping. We'll get there, but jeez, there's some crazy scenes going on there. Anyway. Let's crack on with the episode and see what happened in a chronological sense. And let's do this. We pick up where we left off from last week's episode. Nighteye is not pleased with Deku's invitation, but it's not because he thinks he's insulting him. Imitation's a good word. It's wrong. His crease is like 0.1 centimeter off. That's what we call a millimeter. But then it turns out he's also a fanboy. Mr. Nighteye's got posters. He's got limited edition prints and other good stuff, but then Deku, not one to be out fanboyed, I guess. He's like, remember that incident where he jumped in a vinegar pool and then his face was all creased? That's the face I was doing. And Night-Eye's like, he's right, he's bloody right. But they're sort of getting on in a weird, they're not polite to each other, but they're sort of fanboying to each other, but they're still somewhat confrontational. I say Night-Eye is still somewhat confrontational. We get more on that why a bit later. But yeah, then he's like, no, I'm not going to sign you, I guess, until I see the benefits of that. Here's what you got to do. You got 3 minutes. Spider-Man 1, what a movie. I got you for 3 minutes. Basically, 3 minutes. You got to take the seal and stamp it yourself, and then I'll take you on and all that. And so that they begin. The other two leave, that being Bubble Girl and Mirio Senpai. They leave and are like, yeah, he's gonna get wrecked. So then Deku fights, I guess. He fights, we'll call it a fight. He's zipping about, but Night-Eye's predicting all his moves, and I'm like, he's either really good at prediction, or it's something to do with his quirk, and it was a quirk thing. His quirk is foresight, which lets him see the future, but the thing I did kind of like was in this episode, we don't really figure out how it works completely, so that leaves it for later on, you know what I mean? Basically then tells him, hey, Mirio should have had All for One instead, you suck. And then Deku's like, you will acknowledge me, boy, and speeds up and starts zipping about and everything. And then we go to the break. But yeah, I like the whole, he doesn't think he's a good successor. I definitely like that we don't learn everything about his quirk in this episode, Night-Eye that is. But yeah, because it leaves stuff for later, and then later when we figure it out and he gets wrecked by a villain and Deku's like, oh man, now I've got to deal with the bad guy on my own. That's what my prediction is. I've not read the manga this far anyway. I've read it at the beginning. But yeah, what happened next? The battle continues. Deku's zipping about like Gran Torino. I think he calls him like a bootleg Gran Torino or something. But still not working. He's still not able to get the stamp or whatever, get the seal, the stamp, whatever you want to call it. So he starts throwing books around because the books he's doing to try and block his vision or whatever, but that doesn't work either, so that's not how his quirk works. And then time runs out and Deku collides with a wall, and it's like, oof, poor Deku. And he times out. And turns out they have a bit of back and forth for a bit, but Deku didn't stamp on any of the limited edition All Might merch at any point during his zipping about. So like, there's footprints all over the wall, but then the All Might things are like completely safe. I've completely lost where we are. He then agrees to take him on. Turns out he was also always going to agree to take him on. The test was just, I guess, a test. Well, no, the test was because basically he's accepted and brought him on because he's like, I'm going to make you see that you're crap. I censored myself there. That's good. I'm going to make you give up through this, this thing. So, Deku's got a lot to prove. He's basically going to prove that you are inferior to poor Mirio. Mirio, I don't know if he's holds a grudge. He's got that smiley face that, hopefully he's not holding a grudge. That would be pretty bad for our boy Deku. But yeah, heroes don't hold grudges and all that. But yeah, hopefully that works out well for Deku, and then he stamps the thing. Deku does. He lets him stamp the thing himself, and he's like, I mean, you might not like me, but I'm looking forward to working with you, my dude. I'm really curious to see how the dynamic between them plays off. Like, obviously, I think this arc will end with Nighteye being like, you know what, Mr. Deku man, you're all right. I acknowledge you as a good guy. Like, that's pretty much what I think is going to happen at the end. Overall, obviously, I don't know. I mean, I've got an idea what this arc might be about, and we'll get onto that a little bit because it's mostly the post credits, and mostly the post credits is what I'll be talking about it. Speaking is a hard thing to do. Okay, let's get out of the office and start back to the dormitories. Let's do that. So Deku, back at the dorms, tells everyone, hey, I did it, guys. Turns out it looks like no one else has got an internship. A few of the not an internship. Yeah, no, an internship. Work study, different thing. Internship was earlier on. If I've been saying internship, I apologise. I caught myself now. They're very similar in concept. Yeah, no one else seems to have a thing. We've got angry Bakugo and Todoroki being like, we need to get better in the background. They were pretty funny. Aizawa shows up later on and tells Tokoyami, hey, you've got a request for a thing. Go do that. And also, oh man, the other two of the big three, whose names I don't remember. It's the one that everyone got annoyed at for having boobs, and the third one, who I don't remember. But they want to talk to a few of you students. Those students being, I need to check my notes, I don't remember. Kirishima going with the dude, and then the girl wanted Uraraka and Suyu. And yeah, so I assume that's going to be the people that are involved in this arc, you know? Like, you know how, like, they don't have every member of the class always involved in every arc. So I think it's going to be like, what, Deku and those three? Maybe a few more. And then, like, Mirio and the other big three will be involved in it as well. That's just what I think. And then everyone else will be sort of to the background. Sort of like where the Hero Killers stay and how it was only, like, 3 of them or whatever that were properly involved. And then with Bakugo Rescue, it was like, what, 5 of them, and then the rest of them weren't involved in it. Be similar to that, where it's only a select few characters involved in it. Then, first day of the thing, not the internship, the next day of the thing, they're investigating Overhaul. They're given their what's going on. Overhaul, the villain, I forget what his actual name is, but I think he's called Overhaul. They're investigating him. He's technically not considered a villain because he's like operating in a grey area, close to black, but not quite black, so he's not quite a villain. Interesting and everything. Overhaul is that guy that blew that guy up yesterweek, that's what we'll call it. But yeah, so I assume he's the villain of this arc. I assume Deku is going to fight Overhaul. I mean, the opening made that pretty clear, but you know what I'm saying. Post-credits scene, I'll just jump straight to it because it's important. So there's a girl running away. Said girl then runs into Deku, like she's running through an alley, boop, bops into Deku, and she's like terrified when he goes to help her up. She's like, no, like that. Turns out she was running away from Overhaul, and this girl's name is Eri, and I've heard of Eri before. Like, browse the internet. I don't know any spoilers for actually what happens, but I knew she was a character that existed. So, I'm predicting they're going to uncover Overhaul has got Eri for some bad reason, and then they're going to go save her. Or they're going to be told not to save her, and then Deku's going to go save her anyway. Probably with Mirio, because he sounds like an upstanding guy. They'll go save her. That's just what I think. Sure to mention, I think Deku's with Mirio at this point when she runs into him. But yeah, that was the end of the episode. I don't usually talk about the next episode preview, but I'm going to talk about it this week, because it seemed like what they were saying from the, the voiceover, whatever. It sounds like All Might's going to tell Deku that he's going to die because Nighteye has seen the future of All Might and that he's going to die soon. I think that's what I'm getting from it. I'm probably completely off base, and we'll find out next week. But from the preview, I'm like, blimmin' hell, that's crazy. And it also looks like they're going to let Overhaul take Eri back because they're not supposed to make him suspicious, I guess. I'm blimmin' curious to see what happens next. My Hero is one of those things where I'm always happy when I've watched it, and I sort of like forget how much I enjoy watching it, if you know what I mean. So I'm pumped. I'm pretty damn pumped. Let's go with that. But yeah, anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a subscribe and a like and a comment and all those other good things that YouTube Robot likes to make you more popular and all that other good stuff. I will see you next week for another episode of My Hero Academia Season 4. Isn't it weird you think they might have subtitles? Plus Ultra, but then with more exclamation marks every season. I don't know. I will see you next week, as I said, and bye guys.